I want you to picture for a moment exactly what your life would look like if you were a millionaire. The truth is, you would have a lot of the same concerns, consistently working hard to grow as a person and develop fruitful, loving relationships all around you. Your greatest concern in life would still be your health and the health of those around you. There would be one main difference though, and it's an important one. You would no longer have to worry about money. You would have the freedom to do what you wanted, when you wanted. You would have control. Financial freedom is the freedom to be able to make choices. The choices about what you do with your most precious resource, your time, who you spend it with, and where and what you do with it. I want you to open yourself up as we begin to talk about what it takes to become rich trading. Traders are often very concerned with how much money they can make and how quickly they can make it. And each day and each trading session is approached as almost the improbable or impossible. The reason I want to share this formula with you is because it's very important to have the correct mindset, the mindset of an investor. And it's important to focus on this formula for the bigger picture. And this is going to help you to be able to execute, which is what you need to do in order to achieve your goals. You need to be able to execute. So let's take a look. Starting with a $3,000 balance. How do you get there? How do you achieve your goals? Where are you starting from? If you're starting with just a $3,000 balance today, and you are committing to making for the next 5 years, regularly, yearly, another $3,000 deposit, what is that? Like $260 or so a month. Go ahead and take a look, and the rate of return. You know, holding Bitcoin, what do you think you could do? What do you think you could achieve yearly? I think the average rate of return annually is something closer to about 120%. Take a look at some of these numbers. 2017, 1,300, 2020, 300, that's 2019, 87, and 2018, 72. These two cancel each other out. You're looking over 4 years, 1,600 divided by 4. You're looking at 400% a year. There you go. Mean annual return, 400%, showing the percent change for every year into Bitcoin. It's a couple of down years. 2022, right? Good chance it's a down year as well. That's what I'm expecting. Not being invested, whether that's worth it to you during these bear market years, it could have a significant change in your overall accumulation. That's for some more advanced stuff. So you can see, even if we did experience something like drastically diminishing returns, instead of 400% over the last 4 years, maybe we're looking something forward at like 200%. But even if we only get 70%, what happens if you use something realistic? What happens if you use something like a 30% return over the next 5 years in Bitcoin? You're looking at taking a total deposit over 5 years, $18,000, and growing your account to $46,000. That's only over a 5 year period. But it's also with a 30% return. I think that I personally expect to achieve over a 70% return annually in Bitcoin over the next, 10 years? Absolutely. So let's take a look at that. Let's make that 10 years, 70%. I think underestimating greatly over there. We'll see. We don't know. I think it's safe. I think it's safe to work out my plan using 70% expected return in Bitcoin over the next 10 years. And then you're taking that $33,000, you're turning it into $2 million. Now, $2 million is comfortable. You could basically buy whatever you want whenever you need it. Really very comfortable. But the thing is, when I first started doing this, I did this with 11 years. It was an 11-year plan with 3 halving events. And if you really want to plan this out correctly, starting today, you could go ahead over the next 11 years, expect to have 3 more halving events. Next one, it's every 210,000 blocks. Next one, estimated 20,024, 20,028, 20,032. But the thing is the bull market happens the year after the halving. So you're going to want to make this a 12-year plan, 70% annual return. Now you're looking, total deposits over those 12 years, $39,000, $3,000 a year. You're committing to this plan, to your investment plan. And then you're looking at, $5 million if we hit our expected 70%. Anything could happen. Understand your risk and what your risk is before you make any investment, and do not invest any more than you could afford to lose. But make sure you make calculated risks. Is this a calculated risk? Now, if there was just an 85% annual return in Bitcoin over the next 12 years, you would be looking at something, $15 million. That's from here on up, you go on borderline ridiculous for a 12-year plan. But, 70%, 12 years, next 3 halvings, you're starting today. $5 million is rich. $2 million, you're definitely comfortable, no question about that. But $5 million, I would say that it's a great plan to have in place. I think it's foundational, fundamental, that anyone beginning before anything else should have this plan in place. And then you could go ahead and leverage different investments. Why does it matter? If we're experiencing diminishing returns, then we want to be following a roadmap, a guide that is giving us that clarity that we could position in and out. If you're just buying Bitcoin and holding it for the next 10 years, you don't have to do anything. You could walk away. But if you're trying over those next 2 years, where you already have that fundamental plan in place to acquire as much Bitcoin as you can and doing it in a very calculated, risk-averse way, then it really matters to understand these price movements. 150 days, that's a small time frame to be looking at and considering for this type of investment. The 2012 cycle, you can see here in 2013, peaking higher. This is 11x, an 11x, 7x. Are we going to see something like a 9x, something in the average of the two? As we've seen up until this point, this cycle has been an average in volatility to the upside. It's been an average of the 2 cycles in volatility to the downside. And as far as consolidation and sideways so far up until this point, it's been an average of the 2. Will the return also be a 9x? If I can get it, I want it all. I will take what the market gives me, though.
I mean, I think price says everything, really, doesn't it? And it's such a significant price move. It comes off of a dip and then it moves so fast. It's not going to be something that you're going to miss. Yeah.
No
and
way.
It's having it's really sort of seeing that as early as possible. Yeah. That's why I think that's probably the biggest event to happen.
By the way, as we begin following price action, I saw it this morning on the live show. I was looking at this. I don't know if either of you saw it, but I've spoke about the 4-step at the top that happened during both previous cycles. You could see it clearly here as well. That's also a sign, I believe, as we're in the blow off top, as we talked about. Some people like to exit afterwards on the way down. This for me is the signal over here, the price action that if this is occurring again, there's no question after the 1, 2, 3, 4, on 4, I'm exiting. If we're seeing that unfold in real time, that's going to be a strong signal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and on 4 is the exit. Mic check, mic check. What's going on, everyone? Good morning. Great to be here with you all on this Wednesday morning, streaming like back in the good old days, enjoying it. What a pleasure and an honor to be with you today. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be a fantastic session. Building off yesterday's, which was also like, wow, that's what I want. That's what I've been working for. That's what I've been building for, to work with you all in that type of atmosphere. Looking forward to this new fall and the changes that it brings. The beginning of this video today, by the way, everybody, the beginning of this video and all the work that I've ever done on this channel is more than enough for anyone to get the best education that you could possibly ever get in the markets. My kids will watch it. Everyone's wondering, Jordan, you said you're going to bring everyone along, Yeah. And at the same time, many are called, few are chosen. Listen, the work that has been presented is obviously more than enough. We're going to be here sharing important updates from time to time. But as far as, the fam doing their thing each and every day, I'm looking forward to the changes this brings. We'll talk about that at the very end of the session. Right now, I want to focus in on what's going on with price. By the way, do remind me, as I remind you right now, as I get ready to share what's going on here with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, the NASDAQ, across the board. If you haven't yet, go ahead and smash the like button. Help blow this up here today as we go live on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you for being here with me. I'm really grateful for it and all of you. All right, Ethereum, Bitcoin. We said yesterday, listen, building off, following up this morning session, what we're watching, and then we're seeing a breakdown occur. Here's that larger view. Now, the structure is still bullish, but you've seen two minor breakdowns. That first sell impulse, let me go to the real charts and show you. All right, here's that first sell impulse when you broke the trend line right over there, mid-August. And that was the first opportunity of, I mean, it's extraordinarily bullish, breaking out of the descending wedge, Ethereum, Bitcoin. We've been looking at, going what's going to happen from the mid-cycle to the cycle peak, what's going on with Ethereum and what's going on with altcoins. We know what happened 4 years ago, and we do know that we saw Bitcoin dominance pick up mid-cycle, over those next, call it 120 days into that last 3 weeks where you saw Ethereum and altcoins run hard against Bitcoin. Now we're talking versus Bitcoin here versus the US dollar from mid-cycle on. It should be a party for the alts, peaking out versus the dollar as you come into that cycle peak. We're talking here about Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance. Now, the other thing that could be happening here right now, we just don't know, but we have to be aware of it. And I'll tidy this up. I'll do it right now then. Could we be seeing some type of, descending triangle that's still occurring, right? Let me go ahead. If this is a breakdown, you're seeing the second breakdown out of that little consolidation here to the downside. Is it possible that this was the top of this descending triangle that's going to take a little longer to play out? If you remember what happened, and in case you don't, I'll go back and show you right now what happened 4 years ago at this particular time. And here's 4 years ago. Here's the peak of alt season, right? The first alt season. That's not right. This is the peak of the first alt season. There you go. The peak of the first alt season. And then you can see this descending triangle that formed here on Ethereum. Bitcoin, it ends with Bitcoin breaking hard versus Ethereum. Now, versus the US dollar, Ethereum was going pretty much sideways and consolidating for a long time before that massive run up. But Bitcoin was running during that time, and you could see the Bitcoin dominance really ran up before, the peak of the cycle, the second alt season. When this is occurring, when we see alts peaking out, it's going to be an indication that the cycle's peaking, and then boom, there it is. So are we seeing price right now come up, towards that top end of the resistance? And are we going to see a rejection and a test of that low? I don't know that that's going to happen. That's one thing that could definitely, or appears to be possibly transpiring. But the other is this. The other is that you are just seeing, this nice breakout over here, price come up, consolidating. Maybe it's going to come back down and retest and then resume up off over here. That's another variant that we need to watch out for. And if we saw that occurring, I mean, that's deadly bullish. That's entirely bullish. Or, maybe this is nothing more than a fake out, and you have to watch right now this line right here. As that line breaks to the upside, you are looking at the trends resume back to the upside, and not until then. Right now, there's lots of weakness showing, right? It's that first sell impulse that occurred right over here in a very bullish market, by the way. That's not a signal that anyone should take, in my opinion. Now, if you're hedging yourself and whatnot, that's up to you. You're here to, take a look at some charts. Jordan, could you focus on price? I don't get it. You just focus on fundamentals. I'm going to miss you all. I'm going to miss you all. All right. So, or are we getting a fake out here, and then are we going to see price come back up? If that breaks this trend line over here, then like the bull is running, and it's going to be Ethereum running hard versus Bitcoin. We'll take a look at that in a lot more in depth tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, obviously, is CT&I only session. Ian has been doing a lot of work that I need to take a look at today, and then tomorrow we'll talk about it with everyone, with the group. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on with Bitcoin? I mean, pretty clear, right? This is the impulse. These updates have all been sent out on Twitter for you, right? Every time there's been a sell impulse, a buy impulse, it's been pointed out to you, and that was the sell impulse pointed out on right over here at Bitcoin with you. And since then, what happened? Price is coming back towards the trend line. Now, the reason I have my trend line where I've had it, and I've had this trend line here for since I can remember, is because I'm coming off of this low over here. You know, since the August 5th, since that time, I've had this dotted caution trend line. If you break down below it, watch out. Now, if price does come up from where it is right now, this is a question for all of you to think about and consider. If price does, you know, if remember this sell impulse, I said, you know what? Here's a sell impulse triggering, but I bet that doesn't go anywhere and the bulls buy it up. The bulls bought it up, and then we have another sell impulse. And this time, you know, price is just really consolidating. It's really just consolidating like that for now, right? Now, obviously, either we break this to the upside and then rock and roll, or we break this to the downside. And if we break that to the downside, then it looks like the most important trend line in crypto could very well come in for what will be a retest and what will be the most important retest in crypto. You know, so that's something that we all are obviously concerned about and watching out for if you're bullish on Bitcoin. If you're bearish on Bitcoin, by the way, you are really hoping that happens. This is, you're just waiting for that line to break. But you can't be bearish on Bitcoin since the breakout of the descending wedge, right? And until this line breaks. So if you're bearish on Bitcoin this whole way up, saying that price might peak out first over here into the most important trend line in crypto, and then anywhere from here up until maybe about $52,000, I mean, you are on the wrong side of the trade. A lot of people, it's coming up. Bitcoin $10,000 was mentioned yesterday. You know, we'll see. It's a battle. It's a battle. But if this line is broken here by the sellers, at that point, that's when they have their first like real impulse. Not this over here, right? This is like now they got momentum. Let's see what they do with it. The other question that I'm asking myself is if we hold over here, by holding I mean break back this trend line to the upside. At this point, do I not use the wick over here? And I'm gonna have to consider that. Let me just slide that up so we could all get a visual of what that looks like. And then I'm gonna have to go like, you know, is that what the market's paying attention to? And I don't know, but I want to know. I want to get it as correct as possible. That's for sure. I'm a student of the markets, always looking to learn, always looking to better myself. So, but for now, I keep it where I have it for sure. But if we break this trend line to the upside, then I'm going to, you know, I'll look at your comments right now. I'm surely going to be considering that as we move forward. What about Ethereum, right? Did you see yesterday also on Ethereum, keeping everyone just heads up, you are seeing right now a sell impulse, you know, on Ethereum. Did I do two charts or just one chart? I know I got two charts here. Here's the other one. And then I showed you on the 2 hour what that looked like. And then I put you the line over here. If the buyers are able to break that line, obviously they take back control. But until that's resistance, until it's broken, here's the impulse where the sellers had the first opportunity. They were able to push through a little bit further. So that's what's going on in Ethereum. You know, let's take a look now in real time, and you can see that breakdown of the trend line on the 8 hour, right? Coming in now for a possible retest. On the you can see a breakdown retest already trying to resume up. We got that sell impulse active, and right now we lost a technical break. It's not bullish any longer. This is the opportunity if the sellers are going to attack right now on Ethereum, and they will be negated above this line, right? Position accordingly, manage your risk accordingly. It becomes really easy to do everything when you're able just to frame it right. The NASDAQ, by the way, do we take a look at the NASDAQ, right? We will be looking tomorrow a lot more closely what's going on with Ethereum coming out of the mid-cycle low. Ian's been able to line them up to the mid-cycle low, to the last cycle as well. So once I get the opportunity to take a look at all that research, we'll look at it together. This is some signal right here, right? Raoul Pal, by the way, I've heard over the last couple of months talk about that he feels by the end of the year that the Federal Reserve will not be tapering. They will be ejecting further stimulus, increasing QE purchases. I mean, he's not predicting the future. It's something that he's really watching to see if that's what transpires. This is looking at how many days, going back in blue is 2008, the crisis when they expanded their balance sheet over here massively the first time. And then what happened afterwards, in the days afterwards, at 100 days afterwards, they started what? Well, they started tapering those purchases. What is the Fed's possibly setting up next week in Jackson Hole? The Fed might taper its purchases. Now, those taper might be something like 5 to 10%, right? It could be like $5 to $10 billion a month less of QE purchases. Do not get that mistaken. There's still a massive amount of supportive accommodative policy if the Fed is making $120 billion of security purchases a month. It's all fake, right? But if they take off a little bit, what happens? The system breaks and they need to add a lot more, right? Is that potentially what we're looking at? And how you could time that? Well, that's a little difficult, right? It's a little difficult, but I could see why Raul is saying what he's saying. Let's see what happens next week. And that is, by the way, just building off of what we were looking at yesterday when we looked at the first chart that LogScale shared. And he's talking about, look, keep your eye on the prize. It's the continued expansion of the central bank's balance sheet. You could see that here in white. You're looking at the continued expansion, right? You're looking at Bitcoin rising versus the dollar, and you're looking at the purchasing power of the dollar continuing to fall. We are light on likes. Is the mic on? What's going on, everyone? If you are here and watching, please go ahead and definitely support the channel. Smash that like button. We are close. I think today we're going to hit 100,000 subscribers, an enormous milestone for the channel. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being a part of this. This is, again, my kids will be watching. It will be required. They go back and watch all these videos and the work we did so that they understand markets and understand markets better than anyone else. This is also a look at that, in 2008, that Fed's expansion of the balance sheet. And then this is late 2008. It was in December that it began. And then you see that huge expansion. And then that period where they tapered those purchases a little bit. And then boom, they have to come back in and keep coming back in. This is again when the Fed tapered. This was quantitative tightening taking place, when instead of like just tapering off the purchases, they started taking money out of the system. It caused a dollar liquidity crisis. It's what broke the system. Obviously ignited the pin that popped that bubble was the global lockdowns. And then you saw the massive response by the Fed. And that continued. They can't take it away, right? They tried. It took them almost 10 years from 2008 to start taking money away. And that didn't last even a year. That just broke the system. That's signal right there, User growth, signal. Talking about that yesterday, and watch out for that continued user growth. If you look at this is wallets holding 0.01 Bitcoin, and you could see that massive growth in the bull market peak in 2017. This is starting in July from the mid-cycle dip, and user growth went down. User growth went down during the mid-cycle dip here, and as it started making that new all-time highs, it began a vertical parabolic move. A lot of people might be talking in the months ahead that this is the last cycle because of user growth on these small wallets. Keep in mind, this took place 4 years ago as well around this time. If you're seeing that parabolic user growth, understand that does not mean that this is something different, a last cycle. That's something that we should be looking for as an indication that perhaps this cycle is getting ready to peak. And you can see it again here, even with the next lineup. Alan Au has some great terminology for wallets. We're going to look at that in a little bit. I was just looking at that this morning, and there you can see from that mid-cycle dip on upwards how that just escalated and escalated quickly. It's all about keeping yourself grounded so that as we experience these massive emotions, that we're able to make the best decisions, instead of just acting off them as they occur. This Ted put together, this is a view of Ken's KS model. A lot of people are talking about Bitcoin peaking in 2022. This is a sample of 60,000 voters who wonder when Bitcoin will hit its market cycle peak. And a lot of participants, 53%, think it'll be in 2022. That seems significant. I don't know how this data is manipulated, and it's manipulated one way or another to someone's view. We had 23% of the people thinking that in 2021, this December, as where CTM and that hive mind has this peaking right here, or is the most probable case, right? And then you come back and you look at, this model being presented. Obviously, this trend line has broken since. I don't know if that's even part of the model, but what we're saying here is by, sometime between October and December, we should be looking at some type of we're looking at 3 waves. This is wave 1. This is wave 2, peaking somewhere between October and December, and then peak 3 of a bull market ending sometime in May 2022. I mean, that would be new. That would be different. Bitcoin's never had a 3-wave move into a cycle peak. Here's a presentation. We have a video with Ken on the channel where we sat down to take a look at making sure that we covered all our bases, always looking to disprove our own. Whether or not something like this will be transpire or not, we'll find out. What's interesting is, though, that at what we're looking for the peak of the bull market, he's also looking for that second wave to peak. I don't know. I guess it's good that a lot of people are thinking, and I see it all over the place, are talking about this bull market being extended into 2022. We're getting down to it, about 4 months away into that end of year. So we'll be watching it closely and making sure that we stay on the right side. And this is just taking that, step back and saying, all right, we've broken the most important trend line in crypto, coming back in now, retesting that, and let's see if we get that impulse off. That will be a confirmation that this line is held and that the low is in over here. And just bringing it back, making sure that we're staying on the right side. What else? It's a high probability the mid-cycle low is established. I just showed you, right? We're looking to confirm that right now, right? And that the mid-cycle breakout has occurred. The second phase of the bull market in play, approximately 150 days from mid-cycle low, right? What else? China banning Bitcoin, right? The difficulty adjustment elegance that took place. By the way, we put this out right away over here. The difficulty adjustment elegance. I added that took place this morning. We put that out right away. That's going to be talked about. We talked about that in real time as it was occurring and the importance of it. This is the one we need to focus in on. Is that Fed's balance sheet expansion going to continue? We're waiting for Jerome to step up to the plate and the market's reaction in Jackson Hole next week, and whether or not they decide that they're going to pull off, taper those purchases a little bit, or when they might taper those purchases a little bit and how much it is, we'll all find out. Just keep in mind, if they take off 5-10% of their monthly security purchases, why that is by definition taper, it is still uber easy monetary conditions. I don't expect the markets to crash off of that. All right, let's play some head snack, and then we'll keep going over here. Oh, head snack, big shout out. Thank you, my brother. What's love right there. You're talking childhood best friend, finding out all the idiosyncrasies of what's going on here at CTM and putting together that video for us. Giles, I agree. When we talk about that right now, let's do that together. I'm going to come back to that in 1 second, Giles. If you didn't see this video yesterday, Bitcoin's blow off top, going vertical, be prepared in case this parabolic continues. You have to watch this one. It's presented really well. That's a good one to share with others. And we talked with Ben yesterday from the Cryptoverse. Big shout out to Ben having us on the channel. Not only that, being so welcoming, having a great discussion here on Bitcoin. If you missed this one, I think you should also watch that one as well. A couple of nice comments that I was reading right before going online. That was really awesome and knowledgeable. Best one so far, in my opinion. David's like, Jordan got me into Bitcoin in the first place. Glad to see him and Ben sharing ideas. Grateful for Ben for that for sure. Thanks, Ben. I've been watching Jordan since March 2020, and he nailed every entry and forecasted the bull run perfectly. Dustin Wang, in addition to Bitcoin, he's also covered the DXY, US equities extremely well. Jordan's track record since 2020 has been one of the best, if not the best, on YouTube. And I really agree with that. Not only that, I agree with this when we talk about the best community and learning environment around. Thank you, Giles. Massive respect and gratitude right back at you and to all of you. But that's a huge achievement. The markets are one thing, and if you look across all asset classes since this channel has been online, it is the best track record that there is online. It's just what it is, right? But at the same time, I'm so proud of the environment that we have created together. What else? This is what I wanted to share. This is Alan Au, and he's taking a look at wallets. He's saying that last week, by the way, that whales increased by a sizable 14,146 Bitcoin. Great whites and tiger sharks. Which one are they? Great whites, people holding between 100 and 1,000. You gotta love the terminology. Tiger sharks, do they bite? I hope they at least bite, tiger sharks. Between 10 and 100 Bitcoin, and a fish. You're a fish in the sea between 1 and 10, right? Minnows. This is like, I love the way that this was done. Blue whale. What's the most aggressive whale out there? I gotta ask my 8-year-old. She knows for sure, but Alan's crushing it. I love it, and I'm grateful. But can I share this 2-minute clip with you from Kevin O'Leary? It's so important because if you remember what was happening on this channel, this is going back over here to where a month ago Bitcoin was like $30,000. And I said to you, hey, listen, here's when Bitcoin might make its new all-time high. And there might be a new narrative around that, meaning that Bitcoin is now ESG friendly and approved. 3 weeks later, we had the talk between Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk, with Cathie Wood presenting ARK Investments. She's got vested interest in both GBTC and Tesla. And she was, they got on board to make it public that, okay, the mining has left China, and now we're looking at the future of Bitcoin mining being ESG friendly, massive amount of investment able to enter the space. Look at and listen to Kevin O'Leary's view on that. It's a short clip, but really important. It's coming. It's coming, and we've been setting it up, and we saw it before anyone else. We saw it. Well, I don't want to say we saw. I'm sure Cathie Wood saw that as well. which is why she set up the talk between Jack and Elon. So, but we saw it as it was unfolding. There was a couple of, by the way, I'm interested in this video. I hope that I have the opportunity to watch it today. The future of solar power mining, breaking down the profitability of solar mining. That's stuff that I'm interested in. Let me just be really clear about one thing, and that was over here. John is under the impression that one person changed my mind to no longer live stream, right? No, that was done for my daughter and my family. I want to drive her to school, John. And if that one person that changed my mind is my daughter, family first, my brother, but don't be confused about anything else. There's no question about that. We're going to be live streaming every day together. We're going to be doing a little bit later in the morning together each and every day. That means that some people will be watching it on the replay, but we will be, doing our thing. And yesterday's live stream, when it's just CTM only, I like that environment. That's why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I enjoy that environment. I'm doing it instead of getting up at 5:30 in the morning every day. I could get up later. I'm doing it so that I could be way more relaxed in the environment that I'm pursuing my passions. That's why I'm doing it. Understand I'm doing it because I believe that is best for me, for my family, and then therefore for the best of those who choose to surround themselves around myself and the community that we've built. All right? Just want to make sure everyone sees that. If you just joined CTM community, you have to go into the Discord, search CTM recommended playlist. Make sure that you go to where we say getting started and start with the video, how to thrive in the CTM community, the steps for getting started. That's essential, starting with that first video. And then watch out for the announcements channels. Tomorrow morning, as we go live, I will post a video of that live stream. We'll come back to that in 1 second. The session for the rest of the week is tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have a CTM only session. And then on Friday, another normal time, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, public live stream. Now, the week after, this is flip-flopped, right? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday will be CTM only sessions. Tuesday and Thursday will be public live streams, and those will be the last. After that, school starts, and we're just doing the CTM only sessions Monday through Friday. Of course, there will be uploaded video content, probably clips from some of these sessions that I feel is important that everyone, no matter what, should be aware of. But doing our thing and spending our time together, that's going to be with those who want to commit to doing that or want to continue commit to doing that. So that's where we're at. I want to make sure everyone has the schedule. If you didn't get a chance to understand what's happening and why, well, I'll play that for you right now. Let's take a look at that. Oh no. Ah. Oh. Well, that's all good. So I didn't know I was wondering why head snack got a thumbs down. It didn't really make any sense to me. I saw a few thumbs down for head snack, and then that makes sense. There was no sound. And then Mr. Wonderful, there were thumbs downs flying again, and I'm like, wait, did you guys not like Mr. Wonderful that much that you give him a thumbs down when he's spitting out some important truth over here? All right. Well, that's all good. Duarte, we don't need to improve. The environment's absolutely astonishingly amazing. I am so happy with it. Yesterday's live stream, completely relaxed, in the flow, having fun we're all good. I'm not gonna go ahead and create anything on premium membership inside YouTube. YouTube takes an astonishing 40% of all of that. I have no need to feed the beast. It'd be and that's that. So we're all good. We're really good. Do you remember what happened on the NASDAQ, by the way? Putting out the video as this sell impulse occurred, and an important one, right? Take a step back and look what's going on. And NASDAQ coming off this resistance, we could be looking at a potential correction, right? Now, obviously, we'd be looking for this channel support over here to hold. And then if that broke down, of course, it would be a much bigger correction. But the NASDAQ here and equity markets waiting on what's going to happen coming out of Jackson Hole. The impulse already occurred, and watch it. Get back above the trend line to the upside, and yep, then that must be a 10% move all the way into the next bit of resistance. Let me take a look at it. No, I'm sorry, it's a 2% move. Either way, watch out for it. For the buyers on the NASDAQ to regain control, they're looking at breaking that out. Now, if we see some selling, the angle is going to change. We'll be there. We'll work it out together. But that just taking a step back and getting a view of what you're looking at is really helpful. By the way, that was absolutely an exit. Do you see how well we held on to those trades? Pushing the trades coming out of that last correction. A lot of people talking here about the market topping. I'm sorry, it was back in June, a month earlier after the Fed meeting. NASDAQ below 14,000, and people were looking for that great sell-off. I had to put out a video. I'd be like, the markets are not crashing. Now watch out, because one day in your future, the markets will crash again. That whole head smack meme, the markets are not crashing, is there to protect you, right? Because more often than not, the right side of the trade when it comes to the equity markets is not looking for them to crash. Stop looking for them to crash. But if at any point, the markets are going to be correcting, we want to make sure that we're there so that we could take the trade out of the correction, right? And be setting it up. This was the place to take profit. Everyone should be out of the NASDAQ now. And that in itself and alone, the amount of time that we spent on the U.S. equity markets in 2021 over the last 8 months is, I would say, a total of probably maybe 30 minutes. And that 30 minutes has been the best education for just about everyone that market watch, why we're not on it. I have no idea. Thanks for spending the time together. Look, it's funny. Did you see people out here? Let me pull it up. Wait, I got something playing. Let me get that off. There we go. All right. I saw someone out here was talking about, what was it? Hold on one second. I want to find it for you. I don't have it. Raul took something that we say here over and over and have ever since we can, from the beginning, and is using it, in regards to Ethereum. Oh, the Bitcoin, the most important trade that matters. I mean, come on, light it up. CTM since forever. And now he talks about like Ethereum being the most important trade. But I saw that happening, by the way, with others, people talking about the network effect. The first place I ever heard about the importance of network effects in regards to cryptocurrencies was from Raul on Real Vision and the material that he's presented. I hear other people now talking about, once I learned about network effects and blah, 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 blah. And everyone kind of they take other people's stuff and they just present it as their own. That's kind of whack, in my opinion. I believe that you should definitely give credit to where credit's due. It's about working together, to help lift everyone up. Anyway, thanks for the session. I miss them. Is there anything else that we want to talk about today? I can't play some honeymoon for you, so we can't do that. So I'm not going to do that then. All right, everyone. That's it then for today. That's what you got to do. That's it for today. Those that are not able to join us on the inside, listen, that's fine. You know what you have to do. Everything has been, you have been instructed from the future on what you need to do to achieve your life goals, right? By the way, we'll see you at that cycle peak. By then, surely you've taken the steps that you need to to greatly further better your position in life. At that point, for sure, you could afford the $500 a year fee because most people, by the way, in one particular trade, that was enough of a difference to it saved them a fortune. But if at this moment in time that's out of your reach, then I know that you're taking the steps. And what I mean by that is I know that you're spending less than you take in. I know that you're saving that money, and I know that you're saving that money in Bitcoin, continuing to, the ramen noodle program and strategy, we call it. If you have to eat only ramen noodles for now, then that's what you need to do in order to get your house in order to go ahead and better yourself and position. You have the plan already. You do not need the daily commentary or that your time preference is the cycle peak from here to the cycle peak. And that's where you need to stay focused on. And we will see you there. And we will see you then. I think that for the CTM meetup, it's going to be, you have to be wearing a t-shirt. That's going to be the ticket, right? We're not going to be selling tickets, obviously, but you got to be wearing a t-shirt to get in. Believe that and that's that, everyone. All right. So I'll see you all again tomorrow morning, and those that can't be there tomorrow, I'll see you on Friday. And it'll be a classic and the last Friday session here at CTM. Those have been some of the most fun and enjoyable. So, we'll try to make it a long one on Friday. We'll do our best to make that, a classic Friday session. And then, that's it. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Thanks for making mine. And, really happy with our crystal clear, clean analysis, So have a beautiful day. May God bless you. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being here. Thanks for smashing that like button. We had about 850, 900 people in here. 582 likes. That's massive. Thank you, everyone. I'll talk to you later.